Hello, and welcome to this introduction to the Behmor coffee roaster. The first step in using our new roaster is to check its cleanliness. First, open up the door. Remove the chaff tray and the drum. We can now inspect our unit for cleanliness. We can see here the chaff tray is quite dirty, as well as the inside of the unit. We're going to have to clean this. There are two tools that are incredibly helpful for cleaning out the roaster. The first is a simple paintbrush. You can find this brush next to the coffee roaster itself. Another helpful tool is a vacuum cleaner. This can get at all the little nooks and crannies where chaff may hide. Cleanliness is essential for consistent and well-done roasts on the Behmor coffee roaster. Behmor suggests that you perform a deep clean every 4 to 5 roasts. This unit is dirty and we're going to have to do a deep clean. Once you've cleaned the chaff as best you can with brush and vacuum, we're going to reinsert first the drum and then the chaff tray. Now I'm going to close the door, hit the quarter roast button, and start this. We're now going to let this run for a full heating and cooling cycle. Once our full dry burn cycle is completed, we can begin a deep clean. First, remove the plug. Next, open the door and you can remove the chaff tray and the drum. Now we can get to a deeper clean using a non-abrasive cleaner such as Simple Green. While cleaning the unit, it's very important to make sure that we spray directly on the metal surfaces. Do not spray onto the heating coils themselves. Also, we have to pay attention to the 3 metal screws on the right side. This is where the temperature sensors are, and it is very important that those are free from oils and debris. Now that we've fully cleaned our unit, we can plug it back in and, if we wish, perform a preheating. This is a completely optional step that some coffees work well with and some don't, so you're going to have to experiment. What we're going to do is set it to 1/4 and P1 and press start. This will start at 8 minutes 30 and will run until 7 minutes. This is 1.5 minutes, and at this point the unit will be fully preheated. While we wait for the Behmor to preheat, we can begin to prepare our beans and drum for roasting. So here I have my green beans, and I'm going to grab the drum, and you can see that on the one side there's a latch. Open that latch and pour your beans inside. Now close the latch, and you're ready to go after the preheating has finished. Once we get near 7 minutes, we get ready to stop it at 7, and the unit is nice preheated. Now we're going to very carefully add the drum to the unit. Now if you see, there is a square side as well as a round side. Square side to the right, round side to the left, and we're going to put this in here very carefully. Once that's in, we're going to add our chaff tray. Slide that in, close the door. Now this is a 1/4 pound, so I'm going to hit a 1/4 pound roast as well as P1. This is the best roasting profile for this coffee. Now I'm going to hit start and we're going to stick around. The Behmor coffee roaster is not a set it and forget unit. We are going to have to stand by the unit for 3 main reasons. First, Behmor has a built-in system of protection for its unit. It'll stop it 3/4 of the way through. We're going to have to start it back up when we hear the beeps, so we're listening for those beeps. Secondly, this unit is dangerous from a fire level. You're inserting a flammable substance into a hot object and it may burst into flames. Now the unit should protect itself and detect automatically flames and shut down, but we should be around ourselves to make sure that that's also true. Now we are going to have a fire extinguisher nearby, but if you do notice a fire, never open this door. Keep it closed or else oxygen will go in and the fire will rise. And third, we're checking for the doneness of our beans. So first I'm going to turn on this light, and we can see that inside it is still green. The way we'll know that our beans are beginning to be done is we're listening for what's called the first crack. The first crack is a sound that's somewhat like popcorn. You'll be able to hear it in this video. When that crack happens, we can hit the C button to do more fine control over our roast, or we can let the timer run down. We've hit 3/4 of the way through, so it's telling us we have 30 seconds or else it's cool down, so we're going to hit start, let that keep going. Alright, we're getting towards the end here. We could add time with the time increments, but we just hit our first crack, if you can hear. So I'm going to hit C, and that's going to give us the estimated time from first crack to second crack. Now this is a darker coffee, or I'm going to roast this coffee darker, so let's give it a little bit of time. Roasting coffee to first crack is about as light as we're going to want to go. Roasting to second crack is probably too dark. And never let the coffee roaster go 10 seconds beyond second crack, or else it's a fire hazard. Alright, this is about as dark as I want, so I'm going to let it cool. A handy tip is to always think 15 seconds ahead on your roast. This is because the residual heat of the roast will continue to roast your coffee for that long. The roaster has now completed its full cool down cycle. We can get ready and open the door. Look at all the chaff here. We can remove the chaff tray. And we can see that it has in fact caught a lot of the chaff. See how much is here. Set that aside. Remove the drum. Open the latch. And we can pour our coffee into our desired container. Careful, as it does tend to bounce around and escape. Also, you may need to move the drum up and down to get it around the fins. You can see here that we have a nice dark roasted coffee. I'm going to set that aside and begin to clean the unit for the next person to use it. I'm going to grab my trusty brush, and that's really good for getting the chaff out of this drum as well as some of the major points in the unit. We're also going to want to clean out the chaff tray. It's easiest to clean the drum over the sink and the chaff tray over the garbage. When we got most of it, we can vacuum out the remainder. And you can see here, I fully cleaned the unit. We're going to turn off the light, put our clean drum back in the unit. And our clean chaff tray. Shut the door, and we're good to go. This has been your introduction to the Behmor coffee roaster, now available at MakeHaven.